Hey guys, Bugcat7 here. Okay, it is Sunday, February 24th, 2019. I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research channel here on YouTube. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And if you would kindly hit the like button, guys, that would be terrific too. Okay, well, in any case, I've been reading this book by C.W. Saram called Gods, Graves, and Scholars, and I came to part of the book actually where Saram is going into some of the characters focused around some of the archaeology done, Sumerian archaeology, Akkadian archaeology, and the first person to actually crack the cuneiform code there, the alphabet, cracked the cuneiform alphabet, was this Sir Henry Rawlinson. And Saram's talking about him in his book, and it's interesting. He says, I took some notes here. I will go over Saram's chapters there. I'm just getting into it now, but he mentioned this particular site in Iran, and I looked it up, and I found something very interesting about it. An interesting similarity or parallel, which I don't know if Saram picked up on it or not, but, I certainly did right away, and I wonder if anybody else caught it too. But Saram makes a note of this Sir Henry Rawlinson as entering into the military service of the East India Company. You find that interesting? I didn't know that you could enter into the military service of a company. But that should tell you a little bit about the shenanigans that the East India Company was up to back in the day and how much control they really had. So in any case, back to this Sumerian site in Iran, which is called the Behistun Inscription, which this Sir Henry Rawlins was instrumental in, cracking this, the cuneiform on it. It had been attributed to somebody else. So I'm going to read this Wikipedia article. I was going to read a different article, a contemporary article, but the contemporary article left out a whole bunch of stuff, including this one particular parallel and, coincidence, I guess, but, we don't know. But it just caught me, and I guess if you're a student of Egyptology and just, the recent videos I did on, King Tut and his tomb and Howard Carter and all that kind of stuff, if you know the whole story, then it's going to make more sense to you here and what caught my attention with this. But let me read to you this Wikipedia article about this Behistun inscription at Mount Behistun in Iran. And, it talks about King Darius, but we'll look at the relief and something peculiar things about it that just are kind of humorous, some of them. But anyway, let me read this to you and see if you catch it. I don't know if you guys will catch it, but like I said, if you're a student of Egyptology, you know about King Tut, and you might catch it right away. But in any case, let's read it. The Behistun inscription, or Bistin, or Bisutun, Persian, Old Persian, Pakistana, meaning, quote, the place of God, unquote, is a multilingual inscription in large rock relief on a cliff at Mount Behistun in the Kermanshah province of Iran, near the city of Kermanshah in western Iran. Established by Darius the Great, 550 to 486 BC. It was crucial to the decipherment of cuneiform script, as the inscription includes 3 versions of the same text, written in 3 different cuneiform script languages: Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, a variety of Akkadian. The inscription is to cuneiform what the Rosetta Stone is to Egyptian hieroglyphs, the document most crucial in the decipherment of a previous lost script. The inscription is approximately 15 meters high by 25 meters wide and 100 meters up a limestone cliff from an ancient road connecting the capitals of Babylonia and Media, Babylon and Ecbatana, respectively. The Old Persian text contains 414 lines in 5 columns. The Elamite text includes 593 lines in 8 columns, and the Babylonian text is 112 lines. The inscription was illustrated by a life-size bas-relief of Darius I the Great, holding a bow as a sign of kingship with his left foot on the chest of a figure lying on his back before him. The supine figure is reputed to be the pretender Guamata, not to be confused with Gumata, Italian people. Darius is attended to the left by 2 servants, and get this, Darius is attended to the left by 2 servants, right? And 9 1-meter figures stand to the right. 9 1-meter figures with hands tied and rope around their necks, representing conquered peoples. A Farah floats above, giving its blessing to the king. That's like the Ahura Mazda relief there. One figure appears to have been added after the others were completed. That's an interesting thing. One figure was added after the others. I guess it wasn't complete without this 9th one. As was Darius's beard, which is a separate block of stone attached with iron pins and lead. Now, I'm not sure if I read this in Saram's book. I'm going to have to go back and look at it because I just got into reading about this particular site here, the Behistun Inscription, and about this Sir Henry Rawlinson and everything. So, I just found this interesting parallel here when I thought about it, and I thought about King Tut's seal, the seal on King Tut's tomb. Now, all the other tombs had been robbed, so there was no complete seals left, but on King Tut's tomb there was. But what I found interesting about it, which struck me right away when I read that thing about King Darius there in the Behistun inscription there, was this. And they're talking about this here. I have a better photograph of this, which I'll show you later. This is the seal here, okay? Let me just describe. They described the seal here in the history of world ceramics in a plate here on 198. In this photograph, we see the original rope tied and knotted and sealed with clay. The clay seal at right bears the symbol of the jackal, Anubis, and 9 bound captives. 9 bound captives. Huh. The seal was used by the guardians of the royal necropolis, okay? So, in any case, without going back into King Tut at all, as soon as I read this about the Behistun inscription here, okay, about the 9 1-meter figures standing to the right with hands tied and rope around their necks, representing conquered peoples, okay? I don't know, there's just too much of a parallel there, and as far as the, whatever dates they're using here, just, we know in the alternative community, just forget about that. They don't know anything. They know very little, put it that way, so. In any case, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so let me read some more of this particular article here because it's very interesting. But, I just wanted to show you that parallel there And I just found it very interesting why, you know, this relief has these 9 figures with hands tied and rope around their necks, and so does this seal, the Necropolis seal on King Tut's tomb there, the clay seal. Just too much of a coincidence there for me, guys. I don't know. So, anyway, it talks about the history of it, and it contributed to a different king altogether. And it was believed to be from the reign of Khosrau II of Persia, one of the last Sassanid kings who lived over 1,000 years after the time of Darius the Great, and that was before they could decipher it. Okay, then they talk about attempts to deciphering it, the translation efforts, and here where you come across the fella that C.W. Saram was talking about, Sir Henry Rawlinson, an officer of the British East India Company, army assigned to the forces of the Shah of Iran, began studying the inscription in earnest as the town of Behistun name was anglicized as Behistun at this time. The monument became known as the Behistun Inscription. Despite its relative inaccessibility, Rawlins was able to scale the cliff with the help of a local boy and copy the old Persian inscription. The Elamite was across a chasm, and the Babylonian in 4 meters above. Both were beyond easy reach and were left for later. So just think about it. These people carved these things in ancient times, you know, at the time of King Darius. And here's a picture of it right here. I mean, you know, it's in this cliff. So, you know, these, Sumerians, carved this thing in this sheer cliff over here, and these guys are having tough time getting up there in modern times to take a look at the thing there. And here's a little example of how big it is. Here's some people standing up in front of it, okay, of the relief, and here's all the cuneiform and whatnot. It's rather large cuneiform too, and look where they're standing here, right? And these Sumerians went up there and started flattening this out and carving stuff in it, just incredible. I wonder if LAH Russia has inspected it for tool marks and whatnot. So, in any case, so it talks about this Sir Henry Rawlinson, and he was able to get some of this, break some of this cuneiform, and they talk about him doing all this stuff. So, and another picture of the cuneiform just to show how large it is, and this is limestone. So it's not granite or any particularly hard stone, but apparently it's withstood natural, forces pretty good. This stuff you hear, we'll read about that later, because this has something to do with the rest of the sort of ancient sites around the world, and the theory I have about Galena Canyon and what they did there. And they don't want to tell anybody about it, and that's why they don't want the site researched. But in any case, let me read that, and that's what it's saying over here. It just says, later research and activity there, this American linguist was there, and British Museum expedition, and Nazis were interested in it, the think tank Honor Herb, and then they were canceled because of World War II. But listen to what it says right here. Just pay attention to this. The monument later suffered some damage from Allied soldiers using it for target practice in World War II and during the Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. Okay? And I think the towers at Galena Canyon, I think what they don't want us to find out about the towers of silence, as C.W. Saram refers to them as. I don't think they want us to know about it because I think they used the towers for artillery practice. At some point, the Army used it for artillery practice at some point for fun. And that's why they're towers of silence, and they don't want any more research being done there because they're all in ruins. But when the rancher who lived in the area there in New Mexico first saw them, and Frank C. Hibben got there were 500 of them there. Now all we see are pictures of these like blown up things everywhere, and I'm getting the impression that the U.S. cavalry there used it for target practice, for cannon practice sometime in the past that nobody would care or know about or whatever it is. I'm just putting that out there because it seemed like so much of it was intact. Or, maybe they use it for target practice in contemporary times because Frank C. Hibben found it in, contemporary times. So, or maybe, maybe it was in the past, but this is what's been going on in the world, guys, whether through stupidity or, deliberate acts destroying these things. And this, Behistun Inscription is, no less one of those places where, the place is just destroyed and, we don't know anything about it. But they finally figured out the cuneiform and they read about King Darius here. But, as you saw, this is just an amazing bas relief. Oh, and by the way, there's a papyrus with an Aramaic translation of the Behistun inscription text found in Egypt. Okay? But it just so happens that, King Tut's seal, with this one right here. Here's the papyrus with the Behistun. Here's some more pictures of it, close-up pictures. This is Ahura Mazda with the crown on his head there. Very interesting. They seem like they're bigger than the horses in this thing, and and even in the relief, King Darius seems so much larger. These other guys seem like gnomes. Here's an illustration of it, so you can see. Here's where it is on the cliffside here, and there's some more stuff going on down here. Somebody later on did something with this, as they report in Iran there. Some later king, removed the stuff that was there and put his own stuff there, so we don't know what that says. Here it is again. You can just see King Darius looks bigger, and these people look like gnomes. And this last guy looks like a Tartarian guy, right? With the hat. Looks like a Tartarian guy, the last guy. Was that the guy they added? Or was it the first guy? I don't know, but let's look at a few more pictures here. Okay, here's King Tut's seal. Okay? With the 9 prisoners. Tied and roped and shackled, just like with King Darius and his 9 prisoners there that they say is this one and that one and the other one. Who knows if those characters were real or even if King Darius was real. We don't know. Because, I'm sorry, this is just too much of a similarity, too much of a coincidence to just blow up. So let's see if I can get these other pictures here. I had a few more. I guess not. Okay. Well, I don't know where those other pictures went to, but there were some more interesting pictures. Alright, let's see if I can see them down here. All right, so it just talks about, you know, the history there. So yeah, some other Heracles there, some other monuments there, interesting stuff that's already there. There's the bas relief of the Mithridates too, of Parthia, and then Sheikh Ali Khan's text endowment, which, you know, he erased some of the other stuff so he could put his own stuff there. So, but anyway, guys, so I'll end the video here. I'm just, you know, looking into this stuff, and I just found, and nobody else has mentioned this coincidence of, you know, the 9 prisoners there of King Darius, and the 9 prisoners on the seal here of, you know, Anubis on King Tut's seal. Alright, guys, anyway, I hope you liked that video. I just, you know, found that bizarre and interesting, and we're going to do more on this. We're going to cover Saram's book, some more on that, and maybe also one on Lovelock Cave pretty soon. Alright. Alright, guys. Bugcat7 signing out. Peace.